When can we get Boss Lady out of the attic? It's usually halfway through the week. So here she is. Your host of Halfway Through the Week, Deb LaMotta.
That's right. It's me, Deb LaMotta, and this is Halfway Through the Week. Tonight's show is brought to you by, me, my interview with Alane J and Tom McElman, Wednesday Rally indie artist Regifter, and of course great music from all these artists, indie artists, and more. So make sure you have your headphones on, grab a drink, and I'll be back after the music.
final release.
Tonight is a night of new releases. Our first one there was from Breather, Southern Discomfort. They are from Plymouth, UK, and that single is releasing May 30th. They got together in 23, quickly bonded over their love for creating raw and catchy tunes. So check them out, Breather, and you can find them on all social media and wherever you stream your music from. That next song was Electric Nights, Asphalt Jungle, C. Stevens, and that one's coming out. I think that one's coming out this week, right? Oh my God. C. Stevens and I chit-chat, and so he also had posted this on Facebook. This is a great song. And I love the story behind it. If you know me, I love my coffee and I love the stories behind the songs. He writes, this song would never have happened if he and Kurt from Crypt 13, if they didn't grab the guys and head out for a night on the town, stopping at the, where else? Hard Rock Cafe in Rockford, Illinois. It was one of those special moments when the song just comes to you. Yeah. Not. It just comes to him out of nowhere. He says he literally stopped for gas, and I remember him telling me this story. He literally stopped for gas on the way home and wrote this sucker on a paper towel. Oh my God. I just am always amazed at indie artists and the songwriters that they can just it just flows right out of them. So this... Great job. I love it. Electric Nights. Yep, it's going to be one of those nights. Yes, it is. All right, so I'm not going to try. I'm not going to be talking too much. I know that's hard to believe, but I've got some great things going on for tonight. As you know, halfway through the week is my R2RB Indie Artist Podcast Series. And then following that, it is the Wednesday Rally Indie Artist of the Week as well. So my guests tonight for the R2RB Podcast Series is Alane J and Tom McElman. I'm sure you know them through the indie community. And they actually didn't know each other except through the indie community. It wasn't until Tom started messaging Alane about a collaboration. And when Alane finally answered Tom, thank goodness I might add, well, the rest is history. You're going to hear all about it in the interview. Great stories. Just to set it up for you, I definitely wanted to interview the both of them. I wanted to find out, about their collaboration, but also who they were individually. So I kind of I interviewed Alane in the beginning, and then I got talking with Tom, and in the end, it was a great conversation. Also, halfway between the interview, you will hear their first collaboration, which is Broken, and then at the end, we will listen to The Stars. So, again, like I said, I'm not going to be doing too much. I can't even talk, so don't worry about it. And I think I forgot to say, Wednesday Rally Indie Artist is Regifter. And so the little twist on that interview, most of the time they will be live call-ins, but if there's a time difference, and quite a big one, as there is with Nicola, so there's 5 hours. So what I did, like I did with Rob, I sent the questions, he recorded the answers, put it all together, and I will share that after we listen to Alane J and Tom McElman and the interview with them. All right, so are you comfy? Are you ready? You got your headphones, you got your drink, whatever you might be drinking. I don't even have coffee. I've got water somewhere. Okay, I'll be here. I know you're going to enjoy this. Tom and Alane, thank you so much. I had a great conversation with you guys. It's been a pleasure getting to know you, and I look forward to our friendship. All right, so away with the show.
Hi, and welcome to the R2RB Indie Artist Podcast Series. And today I have Alane J and Tom McElman with me. Alane is a drummer, percussionist, vocalist, songwriter, and music lover. Tom is a songwriter, guitarist, bassist, singer, producer, and mix master engineer. Thank you both for being here, and how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thanks for having us.
I always like to try to let Tom go first because we've done a few of these, and I am a talker.
Because those are the last words I'll get to speak.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, let Tom speak, quiet Alane, let him butt in.
I'm good, thanks. Good. Alane, on back to you.
And how are you doing, Alane?
I'm doing very good today.
Very good. All right. So I like to ask 2 questions to get us started. And the first one is, if you could talk with anyone in the music industry, past or present, who would it be? And Tom, I'll let you go first.
That's one of those questions that I think every day it has a different answer. Today it happens to be Joni Mitchell, just for her songwriting. To spend a couple of hours with her, it'd be a masterclass in songwriting. And I'm currently writing songs for a new album, and I'm running a little dry in ideas. So that's why I think I'm gravitating to songwriters.
Okay. All right. Alane?
Well, I agree with Tom that it's almost something different every day. I have so many people that I would love to talk to. And when I was kind of thinking about this question, I thought, Prince would be an interesting person to talk to. Just his skill level at everything. He can do anything. And we saw the Purple Rain, the re-release or whatever in IMAX the other day. And it just made me think, wow, just to be able to let him talk and tell me a few things would be an experience.
That would be amazing. Both Joni and Prince would be amazing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
Great.
All right. What's your favorite app on your phone and why?
I want to say my Sleep Number app, but that's going to make me sound old. So I'm going to go with my music player because it helps me organize my song ideas, and it puts it into an album, and I can play them, can organize them and play them in a row, in which, mix and match and reshuffle them, kind of thing.
All right. I like that.
Yeah. I like that, yeah.
Mine is Wordle. I am addicted to that thing. And I've been doing it for, however long, it's a couple years probably at this point. And we have kind of a little Facebook group that everybody chimes in, and my mom does it. And I have another friend that we each text every day. So it's just a nice, break from any normal thing that would happen. It kind of gets your mind off of things and resets.
And we do need that these days. That is for sure.
We do.
All right, Wordle. I have to remember that one. I didn't quite get into the Wordle. My best friend did and does. Yep. It's a thing.
It's a big thing. Yeah.
It's part of my daily regimen.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Alane, let's start with you. You are home base is out in Colorado. And where did it all start for you with the drums?
My first memory is where I was babysat. My mom worked and took my brother and I to a lady who had, just her own little thing in her house. And there was maybe like 5 or 6 of us, and her son played drums. And he played in the basement. So I'd always hear him down there, and I'd kind of sneak down the stairs, and look around the corner and just watch him. And he had this silver sparkly drum kit. And I just remember from that point on, I thought, that's what I want to do. I want to play the drums. So that's really where it all started.
I love that story.
Yeah.
That is a great one.
Yeah, it's a fun one to remember.
Yeah, it is. So is that probably, or maybe the starting point of music for you?
I would say so. Yeah. As far as me even understanding that music was something,
Right.
and something that I thought was interesting. I didn't really start the drums until a couple years later. My mom had me try a couple different instruments, and of course, being in school at band at that time, I'm 57, so it wasn't super popular for girls to play drums. And so they wanted me to play clarinet at first. My mom wanted me to try the accordion. She had me try a couple other little things, but I was bound and determined to play the drums. So after a little bit of clarinet, then they let me play the drums, and there was no turning back after that. That was
it.
probably 7 or 8 years old, probably.
Oh, wow. So did you play the drums then from then through elementary then and middle school? Were you then in the bands through high school?
I was in the band. So I was a band geek. And I was, I also was in sports too. So I was one of those unique that was in both. But I was in band all through high school. I was in the marching band and everything. And my brother and I were also had our own thing. So my brother is a singer and a guitar player. And we kind of started off, it was almost like a Carpenters thing, or what is it, White Stripes? Is that the one, the more recently, just where I'm playing drums and he's playing guitar and singing, and I'm doing the backup singing. And we did that a lot, actually, around the block. We'd play little parties, and talent shows and stuff. And we were in bands quite a bit, up until, our mid-20s, probably.
Oh, that's great. And was there anybody else in the family that was into the music, playing instruments, singing?
So it's just my brother and I, and we didn't realize that our parents were musically inclined until much later. My dad would sometimes sing whenever he'd come to see us play. One of my favorite memories, he passed away, and we'll probably talk about that with the song "The Stars." But he and my mom used to come and watch us play all the time, and we played hard rock stuff. And we'd come on our break, and we'd come over, and he'd go, "When are you going to play that Enter Sandman song?" And he just loved that for some reason. And I could tell that he could sing. And for my mom, we later ended up finding in her closet one time, it was a violin.
Oh my gosh.
We were like, what's going on here? Why didn't you tell us about the violin thing this whole time?
Wow.
So they both did have that, but we never really did it as a family, or never really shared that. It was just my brother and I.
Oh, well, that's great. So they supported you.
They did.
Wow.
They really did. Yeah.
That's great.
I mean, you have to be supportive if you're going to have a drum kit in the house.
Yeah, very supportive.
Yeah.
They really loved you.
Yes, they did.
And so what about the songwriting? Were you writing anything during school, or did that come much later?
No, my brother and I started writing songs, probably in our teens. They weren't great, obviously.
You got to start somewhere.
They didn't have a lot of meat to them, but we wrote quite a bit. And a couple of the bands that we were in, we wrote together. And I never looked back, really.
That's great. Oh, that is great. And so who are some of your music influencers?
I have so many. I mean, at the top for me have to be the Wilson sisters, Ann and Nancy. They're definitely my 1 and 2, just being trailblazers, especially in the rock world. Both of them, awesome. I have so many influences for drumming. I mentioned before in another interview that we had, Peter Criss was probably my first drumming influence, because we were huge into Kiss. We did the makeup, the whole thing. So I just love Peter Criss. But later on, there's just so many others that I could say. But those would be the first couple off the top of my head.
And some pretty good ones. I have to ask, being a female drummer, did you find yourself having to prove yourself when you started out?
I always felt pressure. Whenever we would play, we played in cover bands a lot. And so I always felt like, and I don't know if it was necessarily that they were putting pressure on me, or it was me putting pressure on myself. I would always try to play the parts exact, because I didn't want somebody saying, yeah, well, she can't really play, right, if I couldn't play the right parts. So I think it was more probably pressure on myself. I never really had somebody come up and say, well, she's just a girl type of thing.
Good.
I think it was more pressure on myself, but it's definitely not an easy place to be.
No, not at all. I can't even imagine. I on so many different levels. So you just mentioned about bands. So you've played in bands way, starting with your brother right up to the present with, is it Miss Vendetta that you're with now?
Yeah, Miss Vendetta is my main band that I play drums in. I also sing, I'm the Richie Sambora in a Bon Jovi tribute. So, and that's really fun. But as far as drums, yeah, Miss Vendetta is my main band right now. I've played in a couple other, I also played in another all-female rock band back in the day, late 80s, early 90s. We almost got signed. That band was called Crazy Miss Daisy. So that was my little stint into touring and realizing that that is not an easy life.
I can't imagine that either.
4 women on the road in an old Ford van with no front seat, a couch for the back seat, and equipment rolling around. It's definitely an adventure.
That would be definitely, maybe for the first day.
Right, yeah.
What's been the biggest challenge you faced as a independent artist or an independent artist female drummer?
I think just as an independent artist alone, and Tom and I have talked about this so many times, it's like, can I just make music and write songs and record? There is so much to writing, releasing music these days. I mean, I'm very grateful for the opportunities because we've also talked about this, back in the day, it's like you print 100 cassettes or whatever. And, I probably have 80 of them down in my basement right now.
Yeah.
It's not very easy to get yourself heard back then. And now today you have an opportunity, but it is a lot of work just to release one song. There's so many different steps to it. I think that's the biggest challenge. I wouldn't say, particularly because of social media nowadays. I mean, there's female drummers, vocalists, songwriters all over the place. You see them all the time now.
Right.
So I don't feel like that's a thing, really.
Good.
I feel like it's just all the work that's involved.
Let me ask you this question. In regard to that, a lot of new indie artists coming on the scene seem to run out of steam quickly. Is it because they haven't, maybe taken the extra step of really finding out that this is a business? It's your passion, it's your love, but it's a business. And if you don't do all the steps, then I think they do burn out quicker. What do you think?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is because you play the comparison game so quickly with social media. Again, you're just put right out there and you're like, well, wait a minute, why am I not doing this? And somebody isn't liking my thing and I only have 5 views and this, it's so much of a comparison game. And I think people, indie artists, we need to realize this is a long game. If it's something that you really love, there's going to be hard times. It's going to be really hard some days to even post or, like Tom said, to even get inspiration to write a song. You have to give yourself a little bit of grace and realize there's going to be days it's okay if I don't post today, or it's okay if I don't write a song today. There's tomorrow.
Exactly. Agreed. All right. So you have collaborated on several singles with other indie artists. Tell us about those singles leading up to meeting Tom.
So I only collaborated on one other prior to Tom.
Okay.
And that was with Scotty Allen. That was the very first collaboration that I did. And he's a local artist here in Colorado. He actually reached out to me and, because he had been following my music and just happened to say, hey, what do you think if we'd write a song? We'd be kind of, I can't even remember what comparison. He's more of a singer-songwriter. Okay. He's very different than I am. It was almost, it's not Tom Petty. What was it? Anyway, it's more like a singer-songwriter type style.
Okay.
And he wasn't quite sure, how that would work. But I ended up having a song idea and it turned out really good. The song's called It's Gonna Be Okay. That was a really fun one. Then Tom and I did Broken. And then after that, I worked on a song, which was a prog metal song, which was the first prog metal song I've ever done, which was a complete adventure. That was with Steve Klatt.
Yeah.
That song's called Endure. That's my highest streamed song, actually. It's really it turned out really good.
Yeah.
Steve did a phenomenal job, of course. He's an amazing guitarist.
Yes.
And then I collaborated on a Christian hip hop song. And that was a lot of fun. I sang the chorus, I wrote the chorus and sang the chorus. And so that was a really cool adventure as well. And then the most recent collab I did, of course, Tom and I did too. But the most recent collab that I just finished is a country rock song, I'd call it. Not all country, it's more country rockish. Probably like a Carrie Underwood type of country, not.
Yeah.
And so that was another adventure. And I think I've just really enjoyed, it can be a challenge to work with different people, no matter what you do.
Right.
Where you're working with them, whether it's regular work or whatever. But I've learned so much from every single person that I've collaborated with. And it's really been a fantastic experience to collaborate with people.
I can imagine. Absolutely. Yeah. I love it. Okay. Tom, ready?
Yes.
I will put myself on mute.
Oh, you are originally from Massachusetts and you now reside in Ohio. Were you in Kentucky at one point as well?
No. So I actually live in Kentucky.
Oh, you live in okay.
And I work in Ohio.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Now that I've pinpointed where you are.
Yeah. So I live like 10 miles south of the Ohio River.
Okay. What did a pinball machine have to do with you getting stuck on music?
Well, while other kids were outside playing baseball and street hockey, I was going to bars with my parents after school. And the only thing for a kid to do in a bar is to play a lot of pinball. So I got really good at it. I think there's a picture of me somewhere standing on a chair playing a pinball machine because I wasn't tall enough to see the
paddles.
Yeah, and everything really. So the guys would come in and other people would say, "Hey, play the kid," and they'd start playing. It'd be my turn, and I'd be turning over the score and getting bonus games, and they'd give me quarters, and I would take those quarters and I would go play music on the jukebox.
You are the pinball wizard.
I swear to, I kid you not, I thought that song was written about me.
I love that.
I've never been blind or deaf and dumb. Well, maybe a little dumb, but
no.
But I thought that song was about.
That's another great story. I love that. You also wanted to be a drummer at first. Dad played, do I pronounce it timbales? Timbales. Is that what drew you to the drums?
Yeah. When you think timbales, think Sheila E. That's what she plays.
Right.
With the big cowbell in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he brought a set of them home one day and I was like, what's this? And every chance I got, I'd be banging on them. He played a lot with his hands, or at least that's what he told me. So I wouldn't get a hold of the sticks. So I ended up playing with my hands. But it taught me a sense of rhythm, especially watching him. And I would often sit side by side at the bar, and the music I'd play on the jukeboxes, we'd tap out the rhythm to the song. A song that comes to mind is that song, When Will I See You Again? It's an old 70s song.
Yeah.
It's got sort of a Latin feel behind it. And I used to just watch him play and I was just amazed. Now, I was probably 4 or 5 years old, so anything would have amazed me.
Easily impressed.
But thinking back, that's definitely where I got my sense of rhythm. I wanted to play drums. We lived in an apartment, so that wasn't really feasible. My parents weren't as supportive as Alane's, but I did play. I was a band geek as well. I played snare drum for 2 years in high school, played tri-toms for 2 years at high school, marching band, concert stuff.
Are those heavy? They look heavy.
They're incredibly heavy.
Yeah.
And the first year I played them, they didn't. I used to go to this really poor school. So all of our stuff was from the 50s and 60s. And I was carrying them around with straps, which is pretty hard on the shoulders.
Yeah.
And finally, in my senior year, they broke down and bought a brace, which was a lot better.
Wow.
I wasn't slunched over.
Yeah, you got that's tough with the straps, because we definitely had the brace, and even the brace was hard.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. And I can't tell you how many, it seemed like a fluke, but we used to get caught in the rain a lot in parades and football games. And I'd be running with those things strapped to me, trying to get to the bus.
Oh my gosh.
It's amazing I never fell on my face.
Yeah. Or that your back doesn't give you problems now.
Or get impaled by a set of tri-toms.
Was your mom involved in music?
She wasn't. No, she liked music. So I listened to a lot of what she listened to, which she often called 50s music, really 60s music, early 60s sense of what I wanted to. I don't know why, I regret like not being able to ask them, why didn't you listen to like Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple? Why weren't you bringing that stuff home? I had to discover that on my own.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. All right. So from the drums, though, you went to guitar.
Yeah. So I was over at my friend's house one day, and he had just invested a lot of money in this BC Rich Mockingbird. It was custom made, back in the 70s when BC Rich was,
Wow.
It was a really good name. And he let me play it one day, and he plugged it into an amp, and I just hit an A chord, and just the feel of it was like, it was so little effort and so much power coming out of that guitar. And I was like, that's what I wanted.
Wow. Wow. And you never played the guitar in high school, though? It was just always the drums?
Yeah. So this is while I was in high school.
Oh, okay.
There's some crossover.
Okay.
But it was the only thing that I had that I could get that I knew had a volume.
Oh.
My first guitar, of course, like so many kids, was a cheap acoustic guitar from Sears.
Yeah.
It probably cost $30.
Right.
My mother wanted to see if I was committed to it.
Well, yeah.
And I played that thing literally till my fingers bled.
Oh my God.
Because the action was about an inch.
I had the Sears drum set with those horrible cymbals,
Nice.
Well, thank goodness for Sears, though. I mean,
yeah, right. Absolutely. Got to start somewhere.
From Sears.
It started a lot of music careers, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
A lot of things.
But I talked her into buying a Strat. And that kind of went hand in hand with getting my first job to pay for some of it.
Right.
And that was a magical day.
I bet. Oh my gosh, I bet. Right? That first really real guitar. Oh my gosh. Let's take a music break, listen to some songs from my featured artist, and then we'll be back to the interview. Did you sing while you were in high school when you were younger? That came later.
I tried to sing, and I was surrounded by people that weren't very supportive of that.
Really?
Perhaps for good reason. Yeah, it was just, you play guitar. Okay. And I was dumb enough to listen.
Well, it did work out in the end. We'll get there, but it did work out in the end.
It did.
All right. So you had your own bands and you've been part of others as well through the years. When your mom passed in 94, you packed up all your music gear and moved to Ohio. And when you did that, you were done with music for good? Or were you just putting it on the back burner because there was so much going on?
Yeah, 94, 95, I was pretty much done with all of the non-essentials, and even some of the essentials. I worked for a living, and that was really all I did. I wasn't a pleasant person to be around. But yeah, I had just given it up. I wasn't inspired anymore, represented part of my life that was gone. Yeah, it was time to move on. And I just didn't have the vision for what that was.
What the next was, yeah.
Right. And that's when I ran into Sean Moore, who pretty renowned drummer in the Cincinnati area. Doesn't get the credit he nearly deserves.
Right.
And we were introduced by a third party, and we just started jamming in his basement. And that kept me playing anyway. We weren't recording, we weren't writing, we were literally just jamming. Two guys getting together, and whatever comes out, comes out. And one night we're at the bar. He said, "Hey, we should take this into the studio. We've got some stuff that would really sound good. We can get a bass player." And I was like, "Why don't we just record it ourselves? Why don't we just build a studio?"
I have nothing better to do.
So I think and this was my foray into home recording.
Right.
I went home and I think I bought like $1,000 recording package on Musicians. One of those things you wake up in the morning and go, "What did I do?" But I said, well, let's see what happens. And he starts putting up walls in his basement and drywall and sound treatment, and we had a blast with it. We didn't know what the hell we were doing, but it was fun, and that was the key to it. And we learned as we went. The first thing we recorded the bass drum on 8 different tracks, and we thought it was because the microphone was too powerful.
You learn as you go. But that time got you out of your dark area, though.
Yeah, that's when I started feeling the creative juices flowing again.
There you go. And you recorded your first album in 22?
Yep.
No Joy in Funland.
No Fun in Joyland. Actually stemmed from, I was giving a friend, this is during COVID, I was giving a friend guitar lessons. And I kind of stopped short of calling them guitar lessons because I don't want to pass on my bad habits to anybody. But I was showing him some things on the guitar. Okay. And he was showing me this amp that he bought that had this software, and it was a recording software. So I installed it myself, a free version, and I tried it out. And I was like, wow. So I came up with this little song just to show him what capabilities were of the software. And then the ideas just never stopped. Oh, that was the first album.
Awesome. And then you had a single, Here I Come, in 23, right?
Yep. And Here I Come Again.
Yep. That was another time, another period, or just a day that wasn't working out for you when you wrote that song?
Yeah, no, it was really, I was writing about being able to come back from a dark place and what that felt like. At the time, I was feeling really good. Okay. And I tried to, as much as I can, show that in the song. The lyrics are a little dark, but the music to the song is somewhat.
I've listened to it. It's good. Who are some of your music influencers?
This might sound kind of pompous, but I try not to have influences.
Okay.
There are obviously musicians who I hold near and dear to my heart.
Right.
But I find if I try to keep an open head when I approach writing music. So I'm influenced by the look or sound of a guitar on a specific day. And the songwriting process doesn't really start until it's in my lap and I've hit record. Then I could be inspired by a beat, a drum pattern, birds chirping outside my window.
It's amazing. And this goes for you, Alane, also, and Tom, because when I ask the question about songwriting and where you get inspiration from, I always say that the minds of an indie artist is vast. And do your brains ever stop? Do you ever slow down, or is there always something clicking in your mind for the next song or the next riff or the next whatever?
Yeah, for me, it's off and on. It does stop, and that's the scary times.
Oh, okay.
And you feel like, when's that coming back?
Oh, okay.
It might be tomorrow, it might be never. It's just the next time you look at a guitar and think, you can't see it obviously, but I've got like 7 guitars in a rack, and I pass by them every day. And if I'm feeling the urge, I'll pick one of them up and I'll sit down with it, and that's what gets it started.
Go with that. Okay. What,
Yeah.
Alane? What about you?
Yeah, I feel like I hear stuff all the time. There's
Okay.
always, and I use my phone. I'm not a great guitar player. I do figure out some stuff on guitar when I'm writing, but I use my phone and the voice recorder all the time.
All the time.
And in fact, that's how Broken started. Just because I'll come up with a guitar riff or something in my mind and I'll go, okay, it's like, dun, 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 na, 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 na. And then the vocal melody would go, ba, ba, da, ba, da, da. That's kind of how I come up with stuff sometimes. And then there's sometimes when I'll actually have a phrase and a melody will come to me. So the hook of the whole song will come to me. And so in that case, I'll just sing that. But it can be one of two things, it can be either the music kind of comes to me, some kind of cool bass, or guitar or drum fill or something, or a hook of some
It
sort.
amazes me when I ask that question and get the answers. All right, Tom. So I know that you have also done collaborations with other indie artists, and that's actually how I got connected with you. So tell us about your collaborations, bringing it up to where you met Alane.
So my first collaboration was with Jobu and Christina Vox in the Shadow Band project. And we did a song called Wicked Woman. That took a lot of doing. From just the conception of it to the mixing and mastering. I was really tired at the end. But it was a good experience.
Okay.
And unfortunately that project didn't continue. And then I did a couple more songs with Jobu, the fabulous, incomparable Jobu, and he's a force of nature. I mean, I know you know him, and he can sing over anything, any idea I come up with, he's on it. But while I was working with Joe, there was a chat on Facebook, and people were sharing their songs, and I had heard Alane's "Wake Up" single, and I was like, wow, that's a song. That's like, it's
Agreed.
got everything. It's got hooks. It's got energy. It's, that's everything that I wanted. So I was very complimentary, kept, stalking her. But she finally said, this guy's not going anywhere. So I might as well just,
Be nice to him.
Why don't we do something? And I was like, yes.
Yeah, those were my exact words. I'm like, well, just go ahead and
I guess we ought to do
something
something.
just to get them off my back.
So when you finally speaking to each other at the same time and talked about doing a collaboration, did either of you have an idea of the song or what the project was going to be and present it the other one, or how did it all start with Broken?
I didn't know what kind of songwriter Lane was. So I immediately said, well, I'll come up with something. And she's like, well, I might have a few ideas. So she sent me, I think, 3 songs that she had done with guitar and a drum machine. And then she had this other one that was just, like she said, it was all just scat. And for some reason, I was drawn to that one, even though I had no idea until I sat down one day with the guitar in my lap. Well, I'll just play exactly what she's scatting. And the riff just came out. There it is.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So the two of you just really blend it so nicely together, because it's a great song.
It was a fun process. Like Alane said, you never know who you're going to get with a collaboration, but we worked well together. We're both not afraid of telling each other when something works and when something doesn't. And I'm not used to that. I'm my own producer. I write my own stuff, and whatever I think is good, that's what gets released.
Right. Yeah.
So I had Alane telling me, the end of that solo, maybe a little something different.
I don't know if I said that. I mean, there were definitely some different points in there that, and I would come up with some wild ideas too. Like I'd go, oh my gosh, I'm hearing this right here. And I'd play something for him. And he's like, yeah, that's just not hitting me, And so it was good that we were able to, as you can see, we both get along very well. We have similar humor. To me, humor wins the day, because it can be a struggle sometimes just going through life. And when you can just both have fun with each other and be able to respect each other's thoughts and ideas,
absolutely,
that goes a long, long way. And this song we wrote pretty quick. I feel like it wasn't too long, maybe like a couple weeks. We struggled with the bridge section. We went back and forth with what to do there and how to bring everything back together. But once we got that, it was like, oh my gosh, this is turning out cool.
Yeah, we both kept referring, from day one to like, oh, it would be cool to have this middle section, the scat section. but I don't think neither of us knew what that exactly was.
Okay.
So there was a lot of back and forth. Well, how about this? And how about this? And I was at one point I suggested, how about some horns? And like that sounded terrible. Even I knew them.
You never know.
Yeah, we tried all kinds of different things with that middle section. I think he had started to play some guitar solo there, and then I had heard I walk almost every day, and I was listening to old Van Halen, OU812. And there was one song, I can't remember exactly what one it was, but it broke down and had this just bass and drums. And I thought, oh, okay, how about if we break it all down right after this section, bass and drums, and then you rip into the solo. He came up with the solo, and just the way that it was, I was like, oh yeah, I can do the scatting here. And when I sent it back to him, because we were just sending things back and forth, we really hadn't talked. We were just on Messenger. It was just sending ideas back and forth. And he sent me the guitar solo. And then I sent him the actual call and response thing back. And he was like, I was hoping you would do that. That's exactly what I was hoping. And that just turned out so cool. I just love that part. That's probably my second favorite part of the song. My first favorite part is the bridge. Which is actually also the ending, which is a part, this was a true collaboration, and Tom will say that too. It's like we both came up with different ideas, and he came up with that bridge section. Originally, I think you thought it was the chorus, right? And I explained, okay, that's not what I'm thinking is the chorus.
Yeah.
But once he came up with that, and I came up with the vocal line, it was like, oh yeah, that is awesome. I love that part. So that's my favorite part of the whole song.
And how many harmonies? 18?
Yeah, I think there were like 16 tracks or something.
Something like that.
It was a lot of vocal tracks. I think there's 4 or 5 harmonies, and I usually do doubles. So I think there's 5 parts actually in there. It's crazy, but it sounds really cool.
It does. Oh my gosh. No matter how many you did, in the end, it is absolutely a beautiful song. And yeah, the two of you do, from just speaking with you now, also in our phone call, you do have this kind of interaction with each other that does seem so natural and easygoing and laid back. And you can tell me otherwise. I don't think that always happens with collaborations. I mean, you might get along, you might do and put it together and be okay. But you two truly from the beginning, putting your work together is beautiful. And then not only this collaboration, then you decided to do a second collaboration. So things worked out well the first time around. Your next song was The Stars, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so Alane, why don't you start us off and tell us about that?
So we loved working together, and we decided that we wanted to do another song. And we both felt like Broken just turned out so amazing. It doesn't mean that we get a lot of streams, but we just felt like it was a good song, you know, and we got a lot of positive response from it. We kind of felt pressure to do another good song. And, again, I had sent him 3 ideas at the beginning. We used one of them. And then, Tom was like, well, should you do one of those? And I was like, I don't know. It's got to be really good. And even Tom was like, it's got to be a good song, to follow Broken. Yeah. And we kind of tossed around different ideas, even doing a cover. And then I think I just said, what if we just do a ballad? Maybe that, at least because it's so different, it would be a little easier to approach. So we both had some ideas for the music, because I've got all kinds, like I said, I've got all these voice recordings, so I think I sent him a couple different ideas, and he sent me 1 or 2 ideas. For whatever reason, when the one that he sent me that turned into Stars, it was the day before my dad's birthday. My dad's birthday is November 13th. We always call that Dad's Day. So right around that time, I always start thinking about him. I mean, it's been 22 years since he passed away, but still think about him all the time. And I definitely believe that, he's with me and inspiring me all the time and pushing me and giving me signs and that kind of thing. And I was listening to that song, and it just started coming to me, looking up into the stars, wondering what he's doing, wondering where he is. And that line came to me, that actual line, and I started kind of coming up with melodies, and and some things and thinking about the stars. And then Tom and I were talking later that day in Messenger just about some stuff. And he had mentioned, I know your dad passed away. It's Dad's Day, because I'd posted about it. And then he mentioned that his parents had passed, and we started talking about the fact that both of his parents weren't around, and just talking a little bit about that. And I said, you know what, you're going to think this is crazy, but the idea that I had was kind of thinking about my dad and about people that, look over you. And that's obviously what I'm writing about now. We're writing about our parents, and this is going to be for them. And so it made it even more special knowing that that's what it was about. It drove us. It was our huge motivation to write the song after that. It's like, okay, that's what I'm writing about.
Yeah. It's really the song I've been trying to write on my own for, probably since 94. And I've never been able to just articulate what I was trying to say. And Alane she said it all.
Yeah.
And it took her like 5 minutes to come up with the lyrics.
I can't remember how long. I mean, after we talked that day, it didn't take me much longer after that, just because I had my inspiration then. And the story, it definitely talks about a story about, kind of wondering, geez, where are you? What are you doing? How are you helping me? You're still guiding me. I'm thinking about all the words you always say, and different things like that is what I try to portray in the song. And I mean, if anybody can listen to that song, if you know what it's about, and not shed a tear, bravo to you, because I still listen to it and I tear up. And I know how it's ending, but I still just get like this emotion. There's a lot of emotion in that song.
Absolutely. It is a beautiful tribute, and the two of you doing it together just is more heartfelt than anything else. And for me too, when I first listened to it, and then I had to go back and re-listen to it. And that's when it hit me the second time around. I mean, even talking about it now evokes emotions in me about my dad, because my dad's gone about 27 years now too. So yeah, it's not easy, but the thought of looking up into the stars, I mean, what better way to put it all together?
It was hard to mix, because when you're mixing it, you're hearing it over and over again, and many nights, and just sitting there at the computer going, oh, yeah, it needs more bass.
It's kind of therapeutic,
especially that end. The end of the song is just it was tough for me to sing some of those parts, for sure.
And again, it was very much a collaboration. Alane not only sang brilliantly, but played drums. She threw in the last minute gave me a string track, and it's not very predominantly out there, but if it wasn't there, you'd know it.
Right. I was working on another song, and I had just added strings, and I was like, can I add strings?
What about this one?
I just love the stories behind your songs, your collaborations, and, starting out as strangers, indie artists in the community world, yes, but then forging this friendship, and then being able to create the beautiful songs that you do together. Please tell me you have another one in the works.
Right now, there's nothing planned.
Okay.
I've sort of been on the hiatus, and Alane's dance card is punched. Joe's dance card is punched. I kind of needed to step back to kind of get my bearings again.
Sure.
And get the inspiration back, because I don't want to just throw something out there.
No.
You had mentioned what stress is brought to like an indie artist.
Yeah.
And I think people stop enjoying it to some degree. And when I started this, my promise to myself was that it's going to be fun. It's not fun, why do it? And you get caught up in the day-to-day collaborations, the writing, recording, but the promoting, the videos, the interviews, which, don't get me wrong, I love the interviews.
Good thing.
But it takes you away from it. Yeah. I mean, all of the stuff you've got to do takes you away from the enjoyment of the writing and recording.
Right. And as you said, if you don't take a break and give yourself time out from it, you get the burnout.
So yeah, I'll definitely be back, and I definitely want to work with Alane again. I think we've got more ideas, and I think we're in the meantime, we're both growing in what we do. She's delving into every possible genre that's out there. So I have no doubt that she'll learn from that and bring something more to the table next time. And hopefully I'll have an idea or two.
Wow. Oh, absolutely. Alane, are you working on anything at the moment, or are you just doing music with the band?
Yeah, no, I've got another song that's releasing April 11th.
Oh.
It should have been next week. And this is, part of the struggles that we talked about. There's always something that goes on, and there was a problem with my distributor. So I had to completely switch gears, and change the date. But it's coming out April 11th. It's called Another Day. And it's actually a song that I wrote when I was in that other all-girl band called Crazy Miss Daisy that I always loved. And it was the only song that we did a video. It was a super popular song of ours. Everybody loved it. And I thought, you know what? I always wanted to kind of give that new life. Yeah, it turned out. The guitar player on it, just to back up just 1 second, I won't babble too long. I know it's hard to believe, but I'll try to make it short. My whole music, the reason why I got into music, I call it my music journey. And it's because I have songs that I've written a long time ago that I just want, I never really had a chance to record. I wanted to do it. I can do it now. So I might as well. I also have some faith-based songs, so I like to do those. And then I have all my collaborations, and I have, some songs that I wanted to do with one of my other bands, Little Dreamer, that I was in with my brother. So that's kind of why I started on this whole thing. And so this is one of those songs, Another Day, that because I did it with Crazy Miss Daisy, and I wanted to redo it, I also wanted to have people play on it that played with me back then.
Oh, how cool.
And so the bass player, he lives in my neighborhood, actually, which is crazy, but I used to play with him back then. And the guitar player, his name's James Rooster. He lives in Nashville, and he was in one of the huge bands at the time that I played. And I got in touch with him, and he just did a phenomenal job with the guitar playing. And in some ways, he kind of gave me some guidance on producing, some different things to add and stuff. And it just turned out great. So yeah, that's my next song to be released. I mentioned that country song. That's more for sync licensing. And then I've got 2 other songs that I'm still trying to finish of my own. And then of course, Miss Vendetta. We just finished one of the songs. We're trying to figure out when to release that.
Wow.
And then we have one other song that's almost done. So it's a lot, but I didn't mention this. I had a breast cancer scare a couple years ago. And me being 57, my dad died at 58. It's like, I don't care how busy I am. Some days I am mad at myself because I'm so busy. But other days it's like, you know what? I wouldn't be happy if I wasn't. If I wasn't doing all this, I wouldn't be happy.
Good for you. I love the journey. I love your story. I love both stories from both of you. My gosh, both are incredible indie artists in your own realms, and then coming together and doing the music that you do. Thank you. Where can everybody find the both of you?
I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I even created an account on Blue Sky, which I'm starting to like. So please, if you're not on Blue Sky, come and join me. I've also got my website, tommcalman.com. All of my songs can be heard there. Other than that, I'll be in bed for the next couple of days.
Poor guy's not feeling good.
Alane, where are we going to find you?
Yeah, I'm
everywhere.
Instagram, Facebook. I'm under Alane J. My last name is a little complicated, so that's why I keep it to Alane J. And, also Miss Vendetta. I've YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I have Blue Sky. I think I have just an account. I don't even know if I posted a post yet. It's back to that whole thing, but there's so much to do. It's hard to keep up with all those different social medias. But
Absolutely.
yeah, any streaming service, you can find all of our stuff, under Alane J or Tom McElman. So
yes, absolutely. Well, thank you both for being on the R2RB Indie Artist Podcast Series. I do appreciate the both of you joining me tonight, and I can't wait to listen to the next collaboration when you guys get there.
Thank you so very much.
Yeah, thank you so much for all you do. I mean, we really appreciate this time to be able to just let other people know about us.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, I'm
Absolutely.
glad. And you both have a good evening.
Thank you
too.
so much.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Yes, the stars, they light the way. The stars, they light the way. The stars, they light the
What a beautiful song, The Stars by Alane J and Tom McElman. And I just want to say thank you, Alane and Tom, for being my guest on the R2RB podcast series. I certainly enjoyed our conversation, and I look forward to your individual releases and hopefully maybe a third collaboration. All right, so we're getting there. We're getting through. I hope you enjoyed that conversation, because I certainly did. I have another great indie artist, and his release is also coming out this week. Jack Brody, Bombs and Bullets. I know you're going to enjoy it. You know, there's a message, and I want to share it with you. All right, I'll be back after this one.
What a world we've come to live in. You kill your neighbor, then you'll steal his land. Won't change your future if we repeat the past. Common decency and dead at last, like harmony. Bombs and bullets and harmony. Bombs and bullets killing you and me. Bombs and bullets and harmony. Bombs and bullets killing you and me, but they don't see you and me. Oh, they don't see you and me.
Jack Brody, Bombs and Bullets, and Don't We All Need Harmony? Don't we all need the harmony? Jack, this message, I know it's powerful. This will be coming out Friday too. Another great song with definitely a message we definitely need to hear. And I'm going with the harmony. We definitely need harmony. All right, next up, welcome back. It is halfway through the week, and it's time for the Wednesday Rally Indie Artist of the Week. I feel like I need an intro, some music intro for this one in my podcast, too. Hint to anybody that's listening. All right. Wednesday Rally. It's brought to you by Group Together. And this week's Wednesday Rally Artist of the Week is Regifter. Nikola is from Croatia, is an elementary teacher, and, of course, he's an indie music artist. Since there is a 5-hour difference, the interview is pre-recorded. Regifter's Wednesday Rally song that he submitted is Done, his newest release, and I asked Nikola what the second song he would like me to play, and he chose his single Labels because it's completely different from Done and shows the diversity he's trying to achieve. So I sent Nikola the questions, he sent me the answers, I put it together. I'm getting a little bit better. The first one I did with Rob Haravan, and because we usually don't find out who the indie artist, Wednesday Rally indie artist is till Sunday night late, Monday morning. I hopefully this is working. I've been enjoying it. This is the third one. All right. Without any more chatting, it is. Oh, my notes went away. Well, we already know. It's Regifter. It's Nikola from Croatia, and I'll be back. Actually, we're going to play the song first, Done, and then I'll go into the interview, and I'll be back.
Deep in the desert, I was running around, looking for the perfect place to hide my prey. Early that morning, I was robbing a bank, running through the bullet rain, and ran away. Silent mantra on repeat with all regrets that I will lead tonight. I've been told many times before, not enough, I always need some more. Once and for all, I got to get rid of my gun. I've been told many times before, not enough, I always need some more. One less job, and I'm definitely done. I was exhausted, I was losing control, tasting warm and salty iron in my mouth. I was down on my knees with my head up to the sky. I was squeezed, I was rolled, I was shaking from cold. The sun was burning a lamp from the south. Silent mantra on repeat with all regrets that I will lead tonight. I've been told many times before, not enough, I always need some more. Once and for all, I got to get rid of my gun.
Nicola, aka Regifter, thank you for being my guest on Halfway Through the Week. All right, let's get started. Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do when you're not doing music?
Hi, Deb. Greetings to you and your listeners. My name is Nicola. I'm also known as Regifter. In our small community, I'm known as an indie musician, but I'm also a primary school teacher. I work in a primary school in a village here.
Part of who you are, and do you have any other family members in this?
Absolutely. Music has always been part of who I am. I was born into a family where music was very important. All my siblings attended music school. It's interesting that I'm the only one who avoided formal music education. But I'm the only one who is still actively involved in music, apart from my older sister, who is a music teacher. Anyway, the fact that I was surrounded by various musical instruments from a young age certainly influenced my life.
That's so funny that you avoided the formal music schooling, and here you are, an independent music artist. Tell us about your song, Done, that you chose for this week's Wednesday rally. Why did you choose Done? Is there a story behind the song?
Well, Done is my latest single, so I wanted to promote it a bit more. And like most of my fellow songwriters, I'd rather leave the interpretation up to the audience. I can only say that the song Done is my monument to all misunderstood artists. And like all my songs, this one was recorded in my tiny home studio as well.
I always love hearing the stories about the songs and the background of it all. So who has been the biggest influence on your music?
My music reflects everything I love about music in general. I like to combine elements from many different genres. For me, songwriting is like building a new house using old bricks. And if I have to name the biggest influence on my music, it was definitely the Beatles.
I love that reference, building a new house with old bricks, and definitely the Beatles. Okay, so what message do you want your listeners to come away with from your music?
Well, maybe the message is that I preach to my students and I try to justify them with my own example, like messages of unity or love, wisdom, responsibility, well, only good things.
I love that. Not only do you think about your listeners, but that you always think about your students as well. And those are great messages of unity, love, responsibility, and wisdom. Okay, so what do you like most about being an indie artist?
To make a long story short, I love freedom the most.
Working on any new music, anything you can tell us about?
Actually, I'm constantly working on new songs. Sometimes this process takes a long time because I do everything myself. Now, I'm working on a song to pay tribute to a very important period in my musical life, which is punk rock. And that's all I can say.
We will definitely be stalking you. Well, maybe just following you to find out when that next release will be. Okay, overall, how has the experience been being part of the Wednesday rally?
Oh yes, it was amazing. As soon as Sean announced my nomination, I felt excited, especially since it's my favorite online event that I've been following since the beginning. I'm grateful to everyone who participated and supported me. I'd like to thank Sean and his entire team who make the Wednesday rally happen.
Wednesday Rally Group is doing a great job. Is there anything else that you would like to share?
Yes, I would like to say to all my fellow indie musicians that only unity can save us. None of us can do much alone, but when we unite, we can make things happen.
Thank you, Nicola, for being my guest. It was great.
Thank you very much for hosting me. It was a real pleasure to answer your questions. Thank you, Deb. Bye.
I don't wanna die for your labels. I don't wanna die for your gold. Actually, my friend, I don't wanna die at all. I don't wanna die for your money. I don't wanna die for your gold. Actually, my friend, when I die, I should be old. Don't you think it's so? Remember this, I'll never die for labels. No, I'm gonna miss open cards on table, and I don't care if it's right or wrong. 'Cause some of us are here to make this fable, and some of us make this life more stable. Finally, I know where I belong. I don't wanna die for your country. I don't wanna die for your land. Actually, my friend, I don't wanna die in your hand. I don't wanna die for your doctrine. I don't wanna die for your faith. Actually, my friend, for holy war is too late. Don't you think it's so? Remember this, I'll never die for labels. No, I'm gonna miss open cards on table, and I don't care if it's right or wrong. 'Cause some of us are here to make this fable, and some of us make this life more stable. Finally, I know where I belong. We're here to learn to accept any loss, not to charge ourselves with unnecessary thoughts. And when we get this lesson, we'll be free and we can go. Oh, my friend, don't you think it's so? Remember this, I'll never die for labels. No, I'm gonna miss open cards on table, and I don't care if it's right or wrong. 'Cause some of us are here to make this fable, and some of us make this life more stable. Finally, I know where I belong.
All right, that was Regifter Labels. And again, Nicola, aka Regifter, thank you so much for doing the interview and the way we did it for tonight. Oh my gosh, I just want to read a couple of these comments in the Wednesday rally event. Let's see. Hold on. We gotta scroll back up. KTO, Kathleen Turner Overdrive. Way to switch vocal tone, timbre, and intensity, Regifter. That's a skill indeed. Heck, I heard shades of Manilow in parts. A powerful, sometimes funky, but always mindful instrumentation asserts that the vocals are indeed the boss in done. A whiskey for the man in that, please, bartender. Absolutely. Oh, let's see. And Stratification Music actually also said that this is one of the highest attended rallies. Fantastic song. Love the tone and feel. Has that Bowie funk to it. Great job, Regifter from Southern Shades. Quick kick, done. First off, the bass, drums, and guitar, and fluently unified in a perfect mix, and then the synth lead in there. Love it. The production is great. Feel like playing a Red Dead while listening. Vocals flying through the song, leading us into the chorus to pay off everything. Great track. Okay, I'm done, says Quick Kick. I love this. I love the comments. Oh. This is from Jay Steppa. This week's Spotlight is an awesome regifter and their absolutely brilliant track, Done. It kicks off with this cool old Western vibe, setting the mood perfectly before sliding effortlessly into something that gives off classic David Bowie energy. Super creative and totally unique. And that line, I'm gonna go and rob a bank, mate, honestly, that's iconic. It sticks in your head and gives the whole track a bold personality. Subscribe to, and so Jay Step is subscribed to your YouTube channel. All right, keep up the amazing work. Absolutely. Let's see. Voodoo Mirage. Regifter is one seriously gifted artist. Every song was wonderful, surprise, and this one is no exception. Delivery of another stellar performance, my friend. Atlas Slip. This one kicks off with some airy tambourine and ambient guitar that immediately sets a tense mood in the best way. Then that palm muted riff slides in with a super catchy groove, and the jazzy guitar that follows just elevates the whole vibe. The bass keeps it all flowing smooth, and right when you think you've got it figured out, a synth sneaks in toward the end and flips the script. Killer progression. You're right. Vocals have this raw vintage edge that totally works with the mix. Sick track, solid pick for a Wednesday Rally Spotlight. And I'm going to leave it there. I thoroughly enjoyed Done. I also liked Labels. And I definitely enjoyed putting together the interview with Nicola Regifter. Hope you all enjoyed it too. It's been fun doing this. And that about wraps up tonight's show. Thank you, Alane and Tom and Nicola, for spending some time with me, pre-recorded or not. It's been a great night. Great songs from everybody from, and I'm going to leave you with one last song from Emerald Sunday, 7 Mile Smile, which their release is coming out May 30th. Asphalt Jungle with his release, Electric Nights, also May 23rd. Jack Brody's Bullets and Bombs also coming out on May 23rd. I'm telling you, there's always great music every single week, always. So, a thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight and hanging out and listening to all these great interviews. Please go find them, like them, comment, share them, stream them, and buy their music. And I'll be back. I'll be back Sunday night with Out of the Attic Live from Delaware. It is the Unexplained Discoveries Paranormal Investigation Team. They will be joining me, I believe it'll be George, Paulette, Karen, and I know I'm missing somebody. Karen, yep. Tony, hopefully. And so tune in Sunday night. And of course, more great music. Last Sunday was the Inspirational Gospel Hour with Sintel Gospel Music. Another great conversation about internal battles. Yeah, definitely interesting. Always a great conversation with Sintel. And great music. Okay, that's everything. It is just about that time. Enjoy the rest of your week. And I'll talk to you all soon.
Standing by the river in the heart of New York City, I saw this lonely girl. Oh my God, she looked so pretty. When I saw her eyes under the sun, I thought that she might be the one, but I never knew her name. I hang my head in shame. Oh, I can't explain how I never saw the sign. She just walked right by with that 7-mile smile. I still see her face filled with grace before I turn to tie my lace. I never thought to say, how the hell's your day? So it came to be that she only had one wish, to be loved by her mother and have children at her feet. But she lost her way, Desiree. I know that she found peace that day. Life is just a